Welcome along to the EXFL Tier 2 Season 6 Mexican Grand Prix. I'm F1 Union, your main commentator for tonight, and alongside me, like usual, is SLR Nico. Nick, how are you?
Brilliant. Very glad to be back for Tier 2 tonight. Obviously quite a exciting and a hectic race last week. And we'll see what Tier 2 can put on for us tonight.
Yeah, we're heading into the closing stages now. Only 3 races remain in this 22 race long season, and both titles are still in for a shot between 2 teams and 2 drivers, and we'll get right into that as we have 1 minute before we ready up, so we're just making some final checks as I'm just going to send the stream in. But Nick, yeah, what did you think of the last race in terms of what it meant for the championship between Bram and Bratiterra and Red Bull and Ferrari?
Well, Bratty almost had he had sights of that championship trophy there. I mean, he only needed a couple laps less or more, and he would certainly be close to Bram in the championship, if not leading it. And it was snatched away from him at the dying moments of the Grand Prix, and he's got to get himself back in the game. You know, he's only got 3 rounds left, and he needs to be, punching above his weight now.
Indeed, right. I haven't even given the ready up message, but it is 7 o'clock, so we can ready up. Carbro has finally joined, so we do have 11. Not as many as we wanted, but we still make the most of it. Just... Right, just checking stuff with Will, and then we'll load in. Right, I think that's everything. Cool. Right, just dropped a trailer as well. Oh, thank you. For the Tier 2, yes, right, I think that's all good. Okay, 3 races remain. Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, the constructors and the drivers on the line. We've got people standing up in the grandstands above the pit lane, cheering themselves up, and we're seconds away from the short 18-minute qualifying session that will determine the grid. Mexico's always a banger of the season, and it's one we always look forward to. That run down to turn 1, the most climactic start to a race probably on the whole calendar, with all the chaos and carnage that can unfold. But we have to set the grid first, and we'll see them load into qualifying soon. Nick, what is your top 3 prediction?
Oh, I love it when it comes to me for a top 3 prediction. I am. There's a lot of drivers I would have put in that top 3, and maybe slightly below top 5. But obviously, with the unfortunate attendance, I think I'm just gonna have to go Bram, Sin Icon, and Logan.
Alright then, I'm going to go Bram, Sin, Icon, Logan. Okay, I'm going to go with our top 3 in the championship. So that would be Bram, Bratty and Sin. But I'm going to say it will be Bram, Sin, Bratty. I think Sin might just have the edge over Bratty today, but that'll just be qualifying. Obviously, he's going to try and help his teammate in the race. Obviously, last season, Red Bull won Mexico. It was a crazy race, and we'll see if it continues. Right, there's a Red Bull coming out. Both Red Bulls coming out, and the AlphaTauri of Carbro just in front. So, gap to leader. There we go then. Right, so heading out. Sin Icon just behind Carbro, but yes, Bratiterra, the first one out on track. And heading to the left of the track, letting the AlphaTauri through. And then his teammate right behind him. And the Mercedes of Callum as well. So, Logan. Let's see if he can get more points on the board for Williams. They are in the fight now. They are coming under pressure from Alfa Romeo, who have had some really strong races recently of Taze Frozen. And race winner of Japan, Hirosia. Carbro, who impressed us all in Italy. Let's see. Oh, and immediately they've kind of lowered recently. So let's see if he can get back on track just like that. Pro Cody, he's had quite some good qualifyings, and let's see if he can get that first podium that he wants. Verstappen 54, bit of an unknown at the moment. We know he has pace, but let's see if he can deliver. And ACFC Callum will probably get another top 10 start. Let's see if he can make it to the end. Bramley Lang, championship leader by 15 points ahead of Bratty Terror. He doubled his advantage last time out, and he really needed that win. Pretty much created his own luck from crashing to cause the safety car, to pit onto Newhars, to take to the end. And then we have Nathan, who should hopefully get a few more points as well, and go ever more to that 50-point mark. But as we look to Bratty Terror and Sin Icon, a little bit of lag there. I think that's his championship rival right behind him as they start their laps. But yes, Nick, do you want to take us through this lap with Bratty Terror?
Shall do. Bratty Terror. Well, we can take a little bit of a break as he activates the DRS on straight. Just waiting. As he's coming off the first speed trap. And then it's hard on the brakes into turn 1. Hitting that 100-meter board. Absolutely perfect. Opting to take turn 1, 2, and 3 a little bit slower, but still taking advantage of cutting those inside curbs. Now we head down into the very slow and mechanical grip section of the track with 4, 5, and then a short run into turn 6, the double apex corner. And then he will be setting himself up for the tricky S section of the Mexico Grand Prix circuit. It's 7, 8, making sure not to spin on that inside curb, and again for 9. Then it's through 10 and 11. DRS is activated again, and he's setting himself up for the final part of the lap into the stadium section, hitting the brakes hard at the 100 again, going into turn 12, and then the tricky hairpin of 13, making sure not to understeer or oversteer on exit. And there's 14, 15, and then into the double right-hander of 16 and 17. Taking a little bit too much curb on the inside, but he's going to take the short run up to the line through 17. And he is on pole position with a 16.7, just in front of his championship rival, Bramley Lang.
That was brilliant. All three, top 3 in the World Championship, Sin, Bratty and Bram, one by one. And that is absolutely awesome to see the 2 championship protagonists separated by exactly 100th. Bratty Terror has the edge. Sin Icon a full 8/10ths down, but that was phenomenal between the two. The fact that Bram was so close to Bratty that entire lap may have even helped him a bit, but he's still got to find another 100th in hand. And yeah, that was absolutely a brilliant way to start off this qualifying session. They have 2 more attempts. It's just great to see both rivals so close on track and showing each other why they deserve it each, as Erosia nearly 2 seconds off the pace. It shows why these two are the main front in the field, as Logan's in between them. And we got Callum, who I think backed off on his lap. Carbro just heading through the S section. Now we got a bunch of cars, if you can see Nick, in the middle sector, as I think that's a Mercedes who's gone off.
Yep, indeed. They'll all be having a little sniff at a slipstream going into turn 1. But as we all know with this game, as much as we'd all like for it to be like Monza in Mexico, where you'd love a slipstream where the dirty air doesn't matter as much. But yeah, they will be wanting a little slipstream, maybe from their teammates. And obviously, Bram at a disadvantage here, because the 2 Red Bulls can be towing each other along on that main straight.
Yeah, I think Bram had to get a tow from his rival at this rate. But yeah, that is really close between the two, and it's going to be very interesting. And I thought Sin Icon would have the edge over Bratty. Oh, and it's got from bad to worse. He's left. Let's get him back in.
I shall get him back in. Hopefully he doesn't lose too much time.
I haven't really seen Sin Icon have any connection issues all season, so that is a bit of a shot. Right, Taze Frozen heading into turn 1, clocking nearly over 200 mile an hour, heavy braking zone into gear 2, and then the corners just get thrown at you of 1, 2, 3, and now on to the second DRS straight as the AlphaTauri on the left gets out of the way to finish sector 1. Let's see what his split is. It's a 28.6, decent first from Taze Frozen. Now the technical side of things on sector 2, really where all your wings come into play, and he's riding the curbs through the quick double right-hander onto the curb using all the track possible, and then these corners keep coming at you so quickly. The left, then the right, then another left, and then another right of the chicane, using all the curb and making sure just to flow it and make sure not to lose any of the back end. And he's taken that very cautiously, very precisely, and very well indeed as Sin Icon's back in. As he ends the second sector, 57-3, a very tricky corner with that orange curb on the inside can bump you over and invalidate you. Now through the stadium section, one of the most iconic parts of the whole calendar. He's losing the rear a little bit. This last sector can make or break your lap if you lose too much time with understeer. And now just plants it flat to the floor. Line of least resistance for Taste Frozen across the line. It's P3, quarter of a second off the front two, but it is a solid lap nonetheless from Taste Frozen. Cody in. Verstappen, he's backed off 28-4.
I believe, is Verstappen Connor?
No, Carbro is Connor. Verstappen is Ben. Yeah.
Carbro. A couple words from Carbro in the chat, apologising to Cody. I believe they had a little bit of a kerfuffle.
Ooh. And Callum's lost his wing.
And I would say that was probably in turn one. We did see on Taze Frozen's lap there that Cody was pulled off to the left-hand side.
What the?
But yeah, Carbro was very apologetic to Cody, as it seems that he has ruined his lap.
And ruined his front wing. Trying to get out of the way of Perosi, just completely went into the wall. But yeah, Carbro, just pretty much a second off provisional pole. And yeah, Verstappen, I think his first sector split was actually 2/10 quicker than Taze. And the fact Taze is only 2.5 tenths off pole, he has the pace for it, as he's just finishing the first sector again. It's a 28-3, so he goes even quicker than that. This is looking like a very tidy lap so far for Verstappen, but he's got to make his way through sector 2 now, through the two right-handers. He has enough pace, I think, and if he really explores his potential, you never know. Tier 1 could be on the cards, but it's only his third race, I believe, so we'll give him a bit more time as he's really sliding through the S section. I think he's lost a bit of time there because he's really not attacking the corners as much as he should. So heading through the end of sector 2, 57.7, I believe that's a couple tenths down on what Taze was doing, as he's just going to find his way through the final sector, taking it a bit better than Taze, making sure the rear is a bit more stable. And now he's just got one corner to go, and then applying the throttle as fast as you can, using all the track on the outside, really cutting in, and you can see how much the rear is struggling, and that's why he lost so much time in that last bit to be over half a second off provisional pole. But Sin Icon, he's got his work cut out for him as he's just began his second lap. His teammate's still in the pits. Bram's about to cross the line again, I believe. So can he get back onto provisional pole? He crosses the line, and he does! By 0.2 of a second, Bram Lang has found the time he needs to get back on to provisional pole. We'll look back further to Sin Icon, who's a tenth up, which is what he really needs. He's exactly 1.000 seconds off Bram Lang's pole time. And now Sin Icon's really got to find and dig deep within himself to find that much time in just a short amount of time as he makes his way through the chicane now. DRS wide open, end of sector 2, it's a 57.3. He's found half a second, nearly 6 tenths, so he is really fighting the car and can get this onto the front row potentially and get ahead of his teammate who's now on an outlap. Logan's out into the first chicane. I do not know what's happened there, but one corner left for Sin Icon. It's been a great lap so far, and now he just needs to get it across the line, and we'll see. Where can he put his Red Bull? It's P3! He misses out on second. He misses out on beating his teammate, but he's back up there where he needs to be, and Bram, I think, will be very happy with that lap. But Bratty Terror.
Honestly, sorry about that. I'm honestly not sure what happened to Logan there. He's just sort of plugged off on the track, and I believe we have Cody spinning at the final corner, agonising. But Sin Icon there, he was very cautious through that second sector, lifting through a handful of those corners where you just don't want to be. You want to be exactly on the limit, but he's still got 7 minutes, and he should have one more lap in the tank of this qualifying session to make it all perfect and see if he can get pole position.
Right then, Bratty Terror started his second run. A little bit of a slide out of 3 there. He's got a bit of traffic in front of him, but one of the two gets out of the way. The Mercedes shouldn't bother him. But let's see his first sector split. It's a 28-2. He's found 32 thousandths, so he needs another tenth and a half in hand in these final 2 sectors. His first lap did look brilliant, but let's see if he can find and extract any more lap time out of it. We know this is a crucial qualifying session. However, it's crucial for the front row and maybe even the second pole position for once, is not really the best starting position to be here in Mexico, because you don't have any slipstream heading down into turn 1. So the Red Bulls have that advantage, because obviously both can't be on pole, but both can still be able to have a slipstream down into turn 1. So right where they are right now might not be the end of the world. It might not be one less pole position to Bram, but it's not looking too bad for them. But let's see, can Bratty at least put it in the record books for one more pole position? Crosses the line, he goes quicker, and now he is 2/10 in front of Bram, and the pendulum swings back to Red Bull. This is getting interesting. Verstappen
Couple
on his outlap.
comments
Yep.
from Bram saying that there's plenty of time to find, but that was a brilliant lap from Bratty Terra there. 4/10 gain to go another 2/10 in front of Bram. And another comment from Logan, he says that he pressed the wrong pedal. Not quite sure how that works.
Interesting.
But unfortunate to say the least.
Right then, Cody, I think he's about to start another run. Yes, 28.3 is what we're looking for. 28.6 is what he's done so far. So he's 3/10 off the fastest first sector at the moment, I believe. I'll just double check. Bratty's first. It was a 28.3, yeah, like I thought. So yeah, Cody making his way through the middle sector. He's been one of the stars of qualifying, you know, getting that Alpine up. That's right on the limit there. I'm surprised he didn't validate. But yeah, he's had a few couple second rows. One front row, as across the line was Carbro to go into P5, improving on his time. And now Cody, I just missed the second sector split, so it will be a surprise to see what he can do as he heads through the final 3 corners. Left, right, and then another right for Pro Cody 07, this time not getting held up by Carbro, I believe. Now across the line, what can he do? It will be a 1 minute 16.919 to get himself onto the second row, just as I thought. But still, just under 6/10 off pole position. The top 3 all in the pit lane with just under 5 minutes remaining. And one of them's heading out. Is that Sin Icon? He's head. Do you think that's a bit early to head out for a final run, Nick, with 4 minutes 40?
I think this might be a potential slipstream tactic here.
I thought that too, yeah. Interesting. Right, where is Hirosia? Down in P10. He's not going to like that one bit. Callum doing well in 8th, 1.4 off. Top 7 covered by a second. Very close between 6th, 5th, 4th and 3rd. But yeah, very interesting. And Hirosia's left. There we go. Right. Hope everyone's having a good evening as well. Yes, we have 4 minutes left of qualifying. The pendulum keeps swinging between Bram and Bratty, but I'll tell you what, Verstappen's just gone 3rd to get himself ahead of Sin Icon. He's put himself in pretty much the optimal position for heading down into turn 1. P3 is usually the best place to start for the Mexican Grand Prix. But let's see what Sin Icon can do. He's just heading through the final sector now. 3 minutes 40 remaining. The top 2 yet to come out yet. Bram, if Nick said, relayed what he said was true, if he can find a lot of time, he needs to do it. And if he can put this on pole position, this will be another testament to why he is worthy of this championship. But at the moment, Bratty delivering the pace to show why he's also worthy. But Sin Icon then. Nick, do you want to take us through this lap with Sin Icon?
Shall do. 3 minutes 15 left of the session, and he heads it into turn 1, smashing the brake pedal at the 100 through 2 and 3. No curb uses there, surprisingly for Sin Icon. We know there's a lot of time to be gained through there, but he's just taking a little bit cautious. He's 4/10 off. He just needs the lap on the board. It's into 4, then 5. Make sure the tyres don't overheat themselves in case the second sector is needly fast. And then for 6. And he's a little bit of a break. Then into 7. There'll be no more breaks for the rest of this sector at 7, 8, 9. And then into 10. A little downshift. He's taking it very easy through there once again. He needs to be on the limit. He needs to be flat out through there. Unless the setup is designed for a straight line, then it's fair enough. He won't be able to have that grip through the middle sector. But I think it could just be confidence. And then it's into the penultimate corner of 16, then 17, and he rides it right up to the line as Hirosia retires from the session, and it's only P3, and he's over 3/10 off pole position.
He does the job of getting it at least onto the second row and ahead of Verstappen as his teammate Bratty Terra comes out the pit lane. Bram is following him 20 seconds behind. But yes, now we see, is it the team play here from Sin Icon to give his teammate a tow? Does he have enough fuel in the tank as Nathan crosses the line to be P10, meaning Hirosia will start this race from last, just like he did in Suzuka, and we'll see what he can do. So Nathan 10th, I think that might be it for him. Callum 8th at the moment. He's found a bit of time, so we'll ride on board with him as he heads through the final corner. He needs 7/10 in hand to get himself ahead of Carver. At the moment, it just looks like he's solidifying his P8 as he crosses the line. It's a 16.9, and he gets himself P6. A very nice lap from Callum. He found a lot of time in that last sector. What about Taze Frozen then? That's not Taze. As he heads through the final corner for the Alfa Romeo, just starting his lap time. Carbro just starting his. Bratty has just crossed the line. No, he hasn't. Is Bratty on doing his... Bratty's about to start his lap, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, right then. This will be a tow games, because look how close Sin Icon is to Bratty, and Bram is just heading through the final sector to start his. We've got 53 seconds, and there, this is it. Bratty Terror crosses the line to start his final run, and Sin Icon is giving him the slipstream that he needs. He has to go as close as he can to his teammate, and then pull over to the right to let him go.
It's not looking great. That was a very poor, unfortunately, effort at the slipstream. Sim was just way too far ahead. He had to lift off. That's not going to help Bratty Terror much. But now he's heading into that second sector.
We'll find out how much time did it give Bratty Terror. Crosses the end of first sector. It's a 28.3. He's found 700ths to extend his lead, and Bram has to go off the track. He's made a mistake, and Nathan retires. Has Bram found any time, or has he lost it all, or is that pole position gone for him? He still found a 10th after he went wide. Did he gain an advantage? We will see later. Bratty has to really attack these corners to solidify pole. He's right on the limit. Is the Red Bull of Bratty Terror using all the curb and all the track possible? Can he find any more time? He's really getting on the limit as he's got an Alpine with no front wing in front of him. He's now down to only 400ths of improvement. Now he heads through the final sector. Taze Frozen is up to second. Bramley Lang needs to find the 10th he has. He's 4/10ths up nearly. Bratty Terror, one corner left for the Red Bull. He crosses the line. Can he extend his advantage? He loses the rear. He crosses the line. He doesn't improve. It's all up to Bram to get the championship lead and the championship pole position that could be crucial. Crosses the line. It's a 15.993 for Bramley Lang. Pole position. What a lap for the Ferrari. He went wide at turn 4, which is questionable, but he's on pole position ahead of Bratty Terror. Taze Frozen ahead of Sid, Verstappen, Cody, Callum 7th, Carbro invalid, so that is your grid. Did you see him go wide, Nick?
No, I didn't. I saw the Aston Martin yellow flag in the first sequence of corners, but that was a great lap from Brown there.
That was a brilliant lap to get into the 15s. Nearly 3.5 tenths to his championship rival. I don't really like to make comparisons in real life, but that did remind me of Abu Dhabi with Max to Lewis. Just so much tension, so much pressure at this stage in the season to deliver that kind of lap. Oh, I mean, yeah, the exit of 3, as much as he went off, he only did improve that sector by a tenth, so the fact he still found a good 2 tenths. Like he said, a lot of time still left on the board, and he absolutely smashed it. So then, one of the most anticipated rundowns to turn 1. It's not Baku, it's not Brazil, it's Mexico City. With, 700 meters down to turn 1? Is that right, Nick? I know Baku's like 200. Maybe not even that.
Don't have a clue, to be honest.
Whatever. Right then, we'll have a quick look at a sneaky strategy peek, if the thing would load. Here we go. Ooh.
I don't
That's
know.
Interesting.
Can you invite anybody from EA while in the lobby?
Who do you want me to invite?
Carbo was asking for it.
Yep, there we go. So from what I've just seen, everyone's on the hards apart from Bram. Oh, and now Cody and Callum. Oh, and Bratty right at the end. He's put the mediums on. So it will be a drag strip down to turn 1. The championship protagonists line up first and second. Bram on the left, Bratty on the right. What will happen? 3 races remain, the revs rise, and it's lights out, and away we go. So who gets the better start? It's Sin Icon, who tries to get ahead of Bratty, but in the second launch, Bratty and Bram are going to go wheel to wheel here, heading into turn 1. They got 4 abreast behind them, and let's see who emerges into the lead. Bratty gets ahead, but Bram later on the brakes into turn 1, and Bram just misses Bratty's front tyre, and Bratty gets into the lead, and Bratty and Bram and Taze are now wheel to wheel as Taze gets ahead of Bram and Sin Icon's dropped to 5th. But what a start, what a launch for Bratty, tearing into the lead ahead of Taze, ahead of Bram, ahead of Cody who's looking down the inside. These two have had history back in Suzuka. Bram stays ahead of Cody and they bang wheels once again. They've gone off, and Sin watching this all unfold, and now he's trying to look to the inside. Bram has not had the start he wants, and Cody is not giving this fight up. Wheel to wheel, will he have to now? Yes he does, and Sin has to sit behind. What a launch from the second place in the championship. It's Bratty from Taze Frozen. He has indeed, he's lost, and that promotes Bram back up into P2. Oh my god, AlphaTauri of Carbro has had a massive collision with Sin Icon's side pod, and it sent him down into last place. So then, 1.9 seconds between Bratty and Bram. Cody in 30 splits Bram from Sin, and then Verstappen in 5th. There's no front wing for Callum with a penalty, puts him into the pit lane. Logan 8th, now 7th. Hirosio up to 6th from last, and Nathan 8th. Carbro battling away with Taze, who's got a comeback job. What on earth is the weaving there? 2.3 seconds then. Let's look at tyres. Yeah, the top 3 medium, the 3 medium runners are the top 3. Everyone else on the hards. As Taze and Carbro are wheel to wheel heading into turn 1, and they banged wheels. And Taze, oh no. Yeah, I don't know what Carbro's doing there. Did you see that, Nick?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
So he just completely cut the corner, banged into Taze's wheel and spun him. What are you catching an eye on right now?
The monstrous gap that Bratty Terror has pulled at the moment. It seems that Bram got himself caught up in a little bit of trouble on that opening lap, but he is still in second place, 1.9 behind. Gained a couple of tenths through that second sector as we have an Aston Martin spinning in the middle sector.
Yeah, it's Nathan, unfortunately.
But we shall see. Obviously, Sin Icon, the teammate of one of the championship protagonists, on the hard tyres. Bram does not have that buffer of a teammate on a different set of tyres, so we will see where Sin Icon ends up towards the end of the race.
Another 3-second time penalty for Cam. They are going to, especially in the middle sector, going to get quite the few warnings, and if there is a safety car, even with 11, that could make up, that could decide the race win potentially. But yeah, it seems like Bram's got a bit more pace in hand at the moment. Cody and Bratty pretty much similar, but Bram has still got nearly a 2.5 tenth advantage, like he did in qualifying. But here's an interesting thing. The Red Bulls have gone on different strategies. They can try different things. So Sin on the hards, Bratty on the mediums. And it looked like Sin got the best launch initially to maybe even get ahead of his teammate. But in the second phase, it looked like Bratty just had the better traction to get alongside, as Carbro gets a penalty, alongside Bram, hold the inside, get ahead. And then Bram tried to switch to the inside, narrowly avoided Bratty. I mean, that was fantastic racing between the two to not touch or even get into a collision. But then Taze hung it round the outside to get in front of Bram, and then obviously Taze messed up later on. So yeah, all that battling allowed Bratty to get away, as Nathan, I think, has had a... No, it's Carbro has had a mistake. We're going to see quite a few spins, but the gap is going down. 1.5 now between them. Bram's gaining about 2 tenths every lap and pulling away from Cody, as Sin's dropping heavily off the pace. But he will come back into this later on with the medium tyres, as it seems like Carbro is once again not having a great time at the back of the race. He's spun again. Probably going to the pit lane. Really got to tell him to stop doing this. The Sin Icon
That's
gets ahead
Cody
of
gone.
Cody. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Cody's
Cody's
gone
made a
for
mistake.
spin.
So Spin for Pro Cody 07 has put himself behind Verstappen and Sin. It's Carbro. Give me a sec. Oh, I can't. He's PC, isn't he? Great. Anyway, Sin Icon then back up into third, 4.6 seconds behind Bramniet Lang, who's only 1.2 seconds behind Bratty Terror. Ninth of the way into this race, and now we're going to see the top two in the World Championship fight on track for the win. It's been a while. I don't know if we've even seen this that much before this season, as Nathan has had his third spin of the race. You lose it at the wrong place, especially at that corner. The wall will greet you quicker than you think. As Taze now, spin galore here in Mexico. Bram fastest lap. Oh my god, it's all happening. We've got a good 4 cars who keep spinning every lap as Caro gets a penalty now. It seems like Bratty's got a lot of straight line speed, but it's the corners where Bram is gaining lap time on him. So if you're Sin Icon, Nick, what do you try? Do you just try and push as hard as you can to stick with, or take care of your hards and then use all your momentum at the end?
Obviously, it's 36 laps of this track. I would say he's got to save these hard tyres for as long as he can. He's got to stretch this stint as far as possible, and then once those mediums are strapped on, hopefully he'll be a lightning quick and he can buffer his teammate against Bram, and hopefully for the two themselves gain some vital points in that Constructors' Championship.
Indeed. 1 second now the gap. Cody is really struggling. I think his rear end is just so loose at the moment, as he's lost time to Verstappen. Horosia gaining, because I thought Cody, after making that mistake, would hopefully get past Verstappen and Sin, due to those mediums still got a lot of life in them. But anyway, we've got a dive phrase back to the front. Bram does have DRS, even though he's over a second. They're coming up to lap Callum and Carbro at the moment. But yeah, let's see if the DRS... Oh, forgot to enable this. Alright, let's see. Yes, he does have DRS, does Bramniet Lang. 46% to 60%. So Bratty has more to play at the moment. And then, yeah, there is quite the train from Sin to Verstappen, from Cody as the piece of debris disappears. Horosia, see, biggest gainers at the moment is Horosia and Logan. P7 at the moment. Just, once again, just one of those races where he's just a bit alone at the moment. So we'll see where he comes in later on. Carbo 3 second. Callum, oh my. Okay, hang on. So we have Nathan and Taze battling, but I just want to ask you, Nick. Oh, never mind. I won't ask you because Cody's out.
And Carbro's gone for a spin and absolutely cut the turn 13 hairpin there.
What?
But Carbro is doing quite the purposeful actions as I'm spectating him.
So Cody's out, calls the VSC. Bratty is in the pit lane under the VSC. Interesting. Is he really going to make those hards go to the end? As Carbro's finally out.
It's going to be a struggle, I must say, but if he thinks he's got it in him...
That is an interesting play. Because Bratty and strategy,
Bram,
you don't usually go hand in hand together. Interesting.
Very true. And I wonder, Bram obviously does have that raw pace advantage around here and across the season, but I wonder, when those hard tyres start to wear down a little bit, when Bram first puts on those new hards, Bratty's hards are going to be a lot faster, but they'll soon be in the 60, maybe even 70 range by the end of the race.
Literally the polar opposite of last week, where Bram was the one who pitted really early on, as Callum's got a drive through. Really early on did Bram pit in USA, and he won the race on 70 to 80% old hards. Let's see if Bratty can do the same as Callum. Going for his 10th spin of the day, I think. That's what I was going to say before Carbro retired. Do you think at this rate, considering he's got 9 seconds of penalties after 7 laps, he could potentially get disqualified as Nathan gets his first 3 second? I think you need, what, 36 seconds worth of pens? But anyway, closest battle on track at the moment is Horosia, who's nearly on the podium already, as Callum's getting lapped. But yeah, up to Bram now to extract all the life left in those mediums to pit onto the hards. He's always going to be behind Bratty anyway. The gap was around a second, so yeah, as much as those mediums will die off soon, as Callum's now in, so that's 3 retirements. Surely everyone else actually should be staying on the track for longer than 30 seconds now. So Bram, it's up to him now to try and make that 1 second gap behind Bratty to get an advantage ahead of Bratty with those mediums. Make sure they don't fall off too quickly to lose that advantage that he will gain, hopefully. And it will be close between him and Bratty Terra. So the gap is 17.4 seconds. Obviously, let's take into account that Bratty pitted under the VSC, so that's going to gain him a heap of seconds. So it ain't going to be close at all. We know Bratty will remain in front, but it's however quick Bram decides to be now. And we'll keep an eye on the gap between... Oh my god, him and Sin. I thought Bram nearly lost it then. 8.5, so the gap is going up. But yeah, this is a very interesting race. Only with 8 people, unfortunately, as Cody crashed out, Carbro gave up, and Callum too. That's wide for Nathan. So on lap 8 of 36, Taze Frozen's had a couple spins. Logan up to 6, just inheriting a few positions now. Bratty Terra 4.6 behind Horosia, 1.5 behind Verstappen, who's 1.8 behind Sin, who's 8.6 behind Bramley at Lang. We are a quarter of the way through this race. Just going to check the chat real quick. Right then, pretty much the same gap. It is literally the same gap between Horosia to Verstappen to Sin Icon, but now it's up to Bratty Terra. So yeah, like I asked you earlier, Nick, with Sin Icon on the hards, what do you think Bratty Terra has to do? If he pushes, he can help extend that advantage, but he won't have enough tyre life at the end, or does he just preserve? What would you do in this situation?
Oh, he's definitely got to preserve because he pitted on lap 7 of 36. And it's going to be a huge mountain to climb for those tyres. If I don't want to, you know, shoot myself in the foot, if I'm good at maths, it's like 29 laps.
It is 29 laps.
That is a very long way on one set of tyres. I mean, unless he's he's got the pit stop out of the way. That's the thing. Unless he's banking on a late safety car where he can maybe put on the mediums, where Bram's going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation, then Bratty might come into his own. But at the moment, he's just got to save those tyres for the end.
It's a waiting game. It's a game of chess between these two. It's all about the strategy for this race then. We know the championship, either one can't be won today. Next week will be the first opportunity for either one. And we know if USA was crucial, this one's even more as we head to the final 2, which will decide it. But these really do make the foundations and set the stage for the final 2 races. Bram does have a 15-point lead. If it was to be Bram P1 and Bratty P2, ignoring fastest lap, 22-point lead for Bram. If it was to be Bratty first and Bram second, the gap would go back down to 8 points, and we would really have a fight. If Bratty did win the next 2 races and Bram was second, the gap would be only a point heading into the final race. And if he did get a fastest lap or so, level. But we will see. It's Bratty's race to lose at the moment. He's the one who's taken the gamble. He's the one that's got nothing to lose. He's second in the championship. He's yet to lead the championship. And my controller batteries are low. Brilliant. I'm going to have to go down and get some real quick. Yeah, do you mind talking for a minute or so? Just so it doesn't like say no controller batteries available, Nick. Just so I don't save myself embarrassment later. Yeah, cool. Alright,
okay.
Take it away, Nick.
I love taking it away. Right. Bramley Lang. Pulling the gap even further. I'm sure Thies is loving this right now. 9.8 seconds creeping into the 10-second margin. We've got Verstappen 54. My favourite guy in here. He's in third place at the moment. 1.5 seconds away from Sin Icon. Both on the hard tyres. Adam, I agree with that one. Hirosia on the hard tyres as well. Bratty Terror, obviously, one of the recent pitters, stoppers, changing the boots from the mediums to the hards. On lap 7, you got Logovic, 09. He crashed in qualifying by pressing the wrong pedal. Absolute monkey. Probably can't say that, but I have. And he gets a 3-second time penalty. He's on the hard tyres as well. 9.9 behind Bright Terror. Taze Frozen is also on the hard tyres, 4.9 behind Logovic. And Nathan also on the hard tyres, 15.2. I'll just have a look if anybody's actually pit. Nathan, Taze, Logan, Hirosia, Verstappen, and Sin Icon have not pit, and Bram have not pit. It is just the lone driver of Bright Terror. Championship protagonist, move from the mediums to the hards. And I'm just gonna have a look. Oh, F1 is back, but I don't care about him.
Oh.
Bram Lang still on the medium tyres after 12 laps. They'll be wearing down a little bit, but they're probably around 30 or 40% if I make a shit on the dirt. And he's extending that gap to Sin Icon. So Sin Icon, buck your ideas up and catch up to that Ferrari.
Right.
Hello, mate.
So I just realised, even if my battery's died on my controller, because I have my wheel on, the image wouldn't just instantly go to the pause menu and say no controllers available, so that's good. Anyway, Bram Lang, a third of the way through the race, starting lap 13. I'm pretty sure those mediums will start to wear off pretty soon, and the pit stop window will start for him because he is the only medium runner, I believe. Yeah. The hard runners will probably take them to, I want to say, like 20-ish, 22, 3. But it's just a waiting game at the moment. Indeed, Adam, indeed. Right. Constructors-wise, 7 points between Ferrari and Red Bull. Red Bull initially, even though Alfa Romeo and Williams did have some kind of challenge, they did just drop off a bit. Red Bull initially were having the strongest lineup for this season. They were initially leading, well, I say that. They have the most complete package in terms of drivers, I guess, to win the championship, but Ferrari had the upper edge and an advantage, and now their advantage is slowly slipping, and it's coming back into Red Bull's favour. All those races where Red Bull were just getting it wrong, losing more and more, and they've slowly just been gaining more momentum, and they're really delivering in qualifying. Because do you remember the days, Nick, back when like Red Bull would get like 10th and 11th?
I do.
Yeah, and now they're battling for pole every week, which is great to see, especially the fact all three of them are going to Tier 1 next season. They are driving their hearts out because they know this might be the last time. They're consistently fighting at the front, unless you pull a Moore Island and you're just that good to, carry it on. Model driver. Actually, I've just remembered what happened here 3 seasons ago. Nope, moving on. So Verstappen 2.3 behind Sin Icon. He's lost time to the Red Bull. Hirosia 1.7 behind Verstappen, and Bratty Terror slowly but surely been gaining on these lot. He's nearly a second within Hirosia, and the DRS will be activated next lap. He's got to overtake the 2 cars in front of him because, let's be honest, this one's not going to hold him up too much. So it'll be Hirosia. Actually, let's see, the gap was 17.4. It is 15.7 now as Logan and Taze are battling. It's all happening now. Taze gets ahead of Logan. That's been coming for a while. Logan, lots of ERS. Taze, no ERS. So Taze has just gained himself 2 more points. And as it stands, Alfa Romeo are scoring 20 points. Williams only 6. Noah once again not racing. Letting Williams down a bit as they're coming under more pressure from Alfa Romeo to get 3rd in the standings. So yeah, 16.1. So he's gained about 1.4 on Bram. Those mediums are starting to drop a little bit. 15 laps already. Let's have a look. His mediums don't look too bad, do they, Nick?
They do not. They look in pretty substantial condition, I must say.
What would you guess the percentages are?
I would say they are 15, 48%.
Yeah, I was thinking 50%. But yeah, Brighty Terror's got past Erosia, so that 20 points for Alfa Romeo will now turn into 18 as he's on the charge, and now he's just got Verstappen 54. Not great terms with him after Singapore, but then again, Bram or Bratty, he both had a little coming together with. But hopefully, Bratty has enough straight line speed, like we saw in the early stages, to fly past him. But he's 1.6 behind, so wait a couple laps and he might get him as Logan gets his second penalty, and he's lost 3 seconds to Taze in 1 lap. Is he really even? I have no idea. Erosia now 3 second. Oh, going off the track is Verstappen. Never mind, Bratty's just been gifted because Verstappen's had a massive moment there. He's lost 2 positions. Bratty, the work's been done for him. A little bit of luck on his side this time as Erosia gets past Verstappen now, and now Bratty's 3.9 behind his teammate, who will serve no purpose instead just to help him as Bram's into the pit lane. So here comes Bratty to get past Bram, and we'll see what the gap is as Bram puts the hard compound tyres on, exits the pit lane, and that's the gap he's got to chase in these next 20 laps. He will make it to the end, well, Bratty Terror, because his are nearly 10 laps older. If we put it quickly to, yeah. So there's Bram's 0, Bratty 9. 9 laps is the gap, is the difference between their tyre life. And Erosia on 6 seconds now. He only just got his first a couple laps ago. But yeah, Bram 5.8 behind these lot, and they're really starting to bunch up a little bit. Sin Icon then leads the Grand Prix. The hard runners yet to pit yet. And we head through the S's as it seems like they are going to pit soon, because obviously Verstappen on those hards made a little mistake right here as Taze now gets his first penalty. Nick, could you actually check warnings please for Bratty and Bram? 2 of the drivers who usually never get penalties. That's one of their biggest strengths. Let's see how much they have.
Bratty Terror has 0 warnings, and Bram Lang has 1 warning.
Interesting. And you sure that 1 warning is not for like a collision or something? He might have had a collision.
God, there's so many to go through. Bram Lang, yeah, exceeded track limits.
Interesting. Okay. Okay, so they're in early stages still. Already 4.5. Bram is on it. We know over the course of this weekend, Bram has had the slight advantage over Bratty. Taking pole, gaining on Bratty in the opening stages. Bratty just got the better launch. It seems like his starts are key. That's one of his strengths, as well as penalties. And I'll tell you what, Erosia is not falling behind Bratty as much as I thought he would. He's gained a second on his teammate, but Erosia is really sticking with. 41% to Bratty's 76%, 55% to 60% to Bram, and Sin Icon on 46. Logan 90, Nathan 90. They've just not got really anything to use. Clocking 206 mile an hour on the straight for Nathan. I just want to see what Bratty is reaching, as the gap's going down even more between him and Sin Icon. 2.6 now. And here's a key thing. Do you think Red Bull will keep Sin Icon out, Nick? Bit of a stretch.
I do wonder, but let's have a look at the
as we approach the halfway stage.
8 seconds, and obviously there's a lot of cars in between Bram and Sin at the moment. But obviously those hard tyres for Sin are they're gonna have a lot more life in them. They've definitely got a couple of handful of laps. But we will see. Obviously, the cars behind will have to overtake Sin, but you know, we could have given them an idea.
Right then, Herosia's dropped out of a second. We have a yellow. That is Nathan. I was just measuring their speeds. He clocked 206 mile an hour on the straight. Bratty Terror only didn't even clock 200. He went 199. So as much as I think he's got good straight line speed, I just want to compare it to Bram now. In about 40 seconds time. But yeah, 2.2 seconds now between the 2 Red Bulls. One yet to pit, one pitted under the VSC caused by Cody, who lost it at this place, this section of the track. And Bratty Terror just looks in control, but we can't do any jinx because the amount of races we've had now very recently where Red Bull looked to be in a good position of 1-2, 1-3, and it's just ended cruelly right at the end. It's EXFL. We've hit the halfway mark, and now let's see if they can break that kind of cliche they're not really wanting to cause, but at this rate, it's one of the talking points. As we'll run a ball with Bram. Let's see what he can clock as he crosses the line at 150 mile an hour. He's gaining heaps of time on the two in front of him, and they're going to pit soon, hopefully, in his mind. Let's see. Struggling to even hit 194 at this rate. He does eventually. 5. So he's 4 mile an hour slower than Bratty. Interesting. And yeah, they're just spacing themselves out. It was 8.6, like Nick pointed out. And now, oh, we got a yellow of Nathan once again. Another spin. I'm looking at the wrong thing. 7.7. He's gained a second, pretty much. So the gap between Bram and Bratty, 5.3 seconds. And for Bram's sake, he better hope these two pit, unless DRS is involved. So just taking it cautiously. Got a bunch more ERS to use, but Bratty's has got even more, and he's using it now. So 1.7 between the two Red Bulls. If Sin stays out another lap, might give him DRS. That's the gap between the top three. Verstappen dropping more, and we know what happened between these two in Singapore, so let's hope it stays clean. Bram is within that 1 second window he needs. They've got the same amount of VRS. Verstappen's using it. Bram isn't. Verstappen's getting out the slipstream. Bram not phased by it. Just going to carry on. Seems like they've lapped Nathan as well, the two Red Bulls. And heading into turn 1, Bram will have to stay behind, hoping that McLaren pits soon. 5.2 still. Bram with the fastest lap as well. Bratty a tenth and a bit off that. If anyone pits at the end for fastest lap, they could take a point away. But yeah, it seems like if Bram is to win this race, he has to do some overtaking. Not just for these lot, but on his rival as well. And what do you do for the third time, asking Nick? If you're in Bram's position, what do you do with Verstappen and potentially Erosia? Do you just wait for them to pit? Do you try any risk? Because we think he's not trying risks, and then like Luca last week, he will go for it.
Well, Verstappen is certainly defending Bram now. In Bram's advantage, there is a very nice main straight with a little bit of DRS that was brought into the sport a decade ago. Or over a decade, and we will see if he uses that. He's got plenty of ERS to use. The full traction limiting him a little bit on the exit, that final corner there. But he has the DRS, and he'll certainly pull into the slipstream now.
Yeah, he's really making him use it all.
But it's getting closer and closer and closer, and Bram's gone from 60% ERS to just over 20. 40% ERS. Bram does not want to be using any more than that from now on.
What a lovely move from Bram Nietlang to get ahead of Verstappen. He's going to use all his DRS he has left to try and get back at Bram, but he has the DRS to help him, and he goes late on the brakes to try and hang it round the outside. Bram leaves him the space. He's going to stick his nose in there, and he's going to tag Bram, lose the rear, and nearly hit him, and that was all fair in war, and Bram has got the move done. Very committed. He's unfortunately used all his ERS. Verstappen tried everything he could, whether it was intentional or not, to hold him up. He has failed, and Bram, ever cunning as he is, and twice as stubborn as that, he is in front of Verstappen 54, and now Horosia is the only man standing between him and his championship rival. The gap between them is still 5.2. He did not lose anything besides his ERS, and that's what Bratty has at the moment, nearly a full battery of ERS. And here we go then, the change of leadership will probably happen in the next 10 seconds because he's got the DRS, he's got the ERS, he's got the slipstream, and he's got a handy teammate to let him go into the lead. And there we go, Bratty Terror has been helped by the team game from Red Bull. Sin Icon will let him go as we approach lap 22. 14 laps left, and I've got to say, Sin Icon's kept his, I mean, he's got a bit of gravel on, well, something, marbles on his right tyre, but his tyres look significantly better than Herosia's, Nick, if you want to have a look at Sin and Herosia's, especially their right tyre. Actually, their left as well.
Herosia's right tyre looking pretty sleek, but the left tyre looking a little bit less. Just look at Sin Icon. Sin Icon's looking pretty fresh, I can't lie. A little bit of a blister on that left front, but his tyres look more of a baby's bottom than Corrosion.
Okay. Bratty
I'll
down to
probably get done from there for
70%.
that.
Sin down to 50 odd. Herosia's got third of his, and Bram is trying to save up his ERS now. 5.2 again. They're just lapping the same at this rate between the top two, but keep in mind Bratty's Haas are 9 laps older. They are rather in the graining phase, or they've just gone past the graining phase. So it's still very interesting to see. And actually, I say the fastest lap, it will probably go to Sin Icon or Horosia, who will put the mediums on at the end. And we'll just see how much, considering a pit stop around here is 3 seconds. You never know how much one could gain. Top 8 still covered by 8 seconds. Top 8. Top 5 still covered by 8 seconds. As there we go, Taze Frozen has pitted. And yeah, called it. Fastest lap for him by a good half a second ahead of Brams. Half a second and half a tenth. So then, Bram, 1.1 seconds behind Horosia. When do you think these guys will pit, Nick? Sin, Horosia, Verstappen. Got to be now, surely.
Verstappen. Yeah, I mean, obviously Sin's tyres looking a little bit better for wear. But as we creep into the steady stages of 50, 60, 70%, the tyres are just going to rapidly decrease. And the more with less grip, the more slides the drivers are going to get. But I wonder if Sin is going to stretch it as long as possible, as now Brown Lang is ahead of Horosia as Horosia box into the pits from the hard tyres. As you said, when are they going to pit? Round about now. But we will see if Sin is going to stay out any longer just to hold up Bram.
Indeed, that was perfect timing for Bram. He got the DRS when Horosia was pitting. And now Horosia is trying to trigger the undercut on Sin Icon. If he stays out any longer, then Horosia could find himself on this podium. However, does Sin think he's confident enough to stay within 6 seconds of Horosia? It could be a very smart play, as Taze Frozen goes 4 tenths quicker than his other fastest lap. He's right on it to try and trigger some kind of gain. But at the moment, I don't think he's far enough in front to really play a challenge. Maybe Verstappen, but we'll see. As wait, what? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's pretty much the same gap between them all. But yeah, this is going to be a very interesting fight. If Sin Icon does not pit this lap, then he is 100% staying out to hold up Bram. So we'll find out the gap between Bram and Bratty. 5 seconds. Bram's gained a few tenths. And Sin Icon is staying out. This is going to be very interesting. We start lap 25. 11 laps to go. Bram's on 9 lap old tyres. Bratty's on 18 lap old tyres. Double that. So 29 lap. Even Bram's on 18 laps of hards. 20 lap hards. More than half the race. Those seem decent, but Bratty is really going to have to hope his teammate holds him up. You never know how much this could matter as Verstappen crosses the pit exit line and comes out in 5th behind Horosia. In 4th, who's going to try and gain as much as he can. Verstappen, you never know, could undercut Sin. But now this is the thing we've been waiting for, the thing we have predicted, and it's going to happen. Now the question is, does Sin play fair? Put it back to penalties real quick. There we go. Right. Yep, he's easily within 1 second. And he's caught him pretty much where he wanted to. And if he can have a good final sector, Bram Lang will be right on Sin Icon, who's got more ERS to play with than the Ferrari, who's been carefully and cautiously saving it from 20% to 40. But now, Bram knows what Red Bull are up to now. And will Sin use his ERS? Because Bram surely isn't. He's just going to play it cool. Bram knows he's got 10 laps to catch 4.6 seconds. He's already catching. Bratty Terra's tyres are starting to degrade. And Sin Icon stays ahead of Bram for the time being. This is very crucial between the two, and he's holding him up. He's playing the team game. And now Bram's using his ERS to try and get ahead of Sin. but it just doesn't look like he's close enough for a move. Bram's used all the ERS he saved up now, and that was pretty wasteful. Not really the best place to use it up, because now he's just got to sit behind Sin Icon, especially through these quick S sections, and lose even more time. We'll put it to leader. 4.6, gap staying how it is. Bratty's front left is looking a little damaged, but so far decent shape. Bram's all over the back of Sin Icon, and will he try a move here?
Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. I wonder if he's going for a move. He's going to go round the outside. It's going to be tough with the track limits on the exit, but he does it. But he's still there, Sin Icon, and Sin Icon is, if he stays out another lap, he could get the DRS once again.
Right, so brilliant move from Bramley at Lang. Great respect between the two. And does he get the DRS as well? Yeah, no.
Yes, he's staying out again.
So he's coming back at him.
Out of ERS.
So that's all he can do. Bram pulled off a brilliant move. Oh my lord! He pulled off a brilliant move at the stadium to get past Sin, but Bram has been left in the dust on the straight for Sin to get back at him, and Sin nearly swiped him.
I thought that Ferrari was plummeting in the wall at close to 200 miles an hour. Oh my god, the screams that would have come from the both of us there would have been outrageous.
Oh god, right, so Bram is not going to like that one bit.
Seems a little familiar, don't you think, Jane?
Shut up. It happened 200 metres earlier, get your facts right. So Bramley at Lang has to now really attack. I'm not, as much as it was a good opportunity, I would have waited until the straight. Now here comes Bram again. He's using all his ERS. He's this time saving it, because this time Sin Icon's using all his ERS, and this time Bram stays behind. Sin goes wide, and this might allow Bram to get him on the straight, and this time actually stay in front. He's got more ERS.
What Sin really needs to do is slow down in the first part of the second sector and that final sector. He's pushing as hard as he can, but what he needs to do, especially in the hairpin of turn 13, just go nice and timidly round the corner, and that will hold Bram up a lot. But Bram, surprisingly, not taking the slipstream here. I wonder if he's going to go for a move into turn 4, but he's still going to go around the outside.
And he gets the move done.
And for Sin, yeah, there's no DRS detection point after turn 3. It's the same one for the final corner and going into turn 3 and 4. So Sin is going to be left for dust a little bit here, and Bram is going to be on his merry way through the second sector.
There, he's done it then. Bramley at Lang didn't decide to get in the slip of Sin Icon on the straight. He just went clean round his outside. Sin left him the room, and that is how you do it. But he has lost, through all of that, nearly a second and a half to Bratty Terror. He has 8 laps to chase down 5.8 seconds instead of that 4.6 gap. How much difference is that going to make? And that might be his second warning. Just
honestly, I don't think that's enough from Sin there. Sin,
wow,
he was ahead of him, but he needed to slow down plenty. You had turn 4, 5, and 6, and then you had 13. 14 and 15, where you could just go nice and slow and back Bram up, because Bram can't do anything at that point. He can't just overtake, as we see Sin Icon now in the pits. But yeah, as you said, 5.7. I will just have a look if Bram got a warning there.
No, he didn't. I just checked now.
And he didn't. That is surprising.
Verstappen got a 3-second time penalty while all that was happening. So Sin has been jumped by Horosia by a good distance, and like I was saying, Verstappen is also ahead of Sin Icon. So Sin needs to finish within 3 of Verstappen. He needs to finish within 6 of Horosia. But Horosia's already into turn 2. As Sin's exiting the pits on soft compound tyres. No wonder he was going so long. He is going to absolutely obliterate the fastest lap attempt, which is currently held by Taser. 18.8, yeah. As Horosia's on an 18.9. So Sin is 10 seconds behind Horosia. He needs to gain 4 seconds in 7 laps. And I think, unless the softs are like Japan and they die after 4 laps. You never know. Right, Bram was 6.8 behind Bratty. He's 5.8 now. He has 7 laps to catch him. And this... Oh, Horosia's got 9 now! So it's... Sin just needs to stick within 3 of Verstappen and he's good. Interesting. Okay. But this is where the battle begins. Lap 30. 5.6 seconds. If Bram is to win this race, He has to overtake his championship rival on track, and this is going to really come down to the wire. If he gets a second per lap, he will have one chance on the final lap, and this could really make or break the World Championship of who it will go to. Will it be Bratty gaining 7 points back on Bram? Because definitely neither of them are getting the fastest lap now, let's be honest. So it is a 7-point swing, but who will it go to? 15 points is the difference. Will it go down to 8? Will it go up to 22? And it's Bram who can decide this on 9-lap younger hard compound tyres. With 6 laps to go, Bratty doing exactly what Bram did 7 days ago for the 7-point gap he needs, deficit he needs to gain. This is going to be very interesting. You know what? Bratty's actually gained on this lap. He's gained 2 tenths. It's Bram's tyres now heading through the degradation phase, and maybe in a couple laps they'll be fine, but he is starting to lose time. As I say that, as always, the script completely flips, and now he's gaining that time back. So it seems like Bratty's good at in the start of sector 2. He isn't in the end of sector 2, and the last sector just kind of evens it out. So Bratty starts lap 31. He's coming up to lap Logan. That is a bit embarrassing, but Bram now crosses the line to make the gap 5.4 with essentially 6 laps to go, I guess. Oh, which position would you be in, Nick? Which would you rather be in? Which position would you rather be in, Bratty or Bram? I gotta
Obviously,
go Bratty.
Bratty's got much more to lose, but he has,
There we go.
he's got the track position. As long as he can try his best, then he knows he's done some solid work. And I have had a request from William. Could you just show the tyre life, please?
I can indeed. There's the tyre life. Bratty, if Logan stays in front of Bratty for the rest of this lap, Bratty could get a helping of DRS here. Actually, right here he'll get a helping of DRS. So Logan, the lag there is going to give me a heart attack. Logan giving Bratty a bit of DRS there, which is nice of him. Obviously, Bratty's just going to pretty much ghost through him to get ahead. This might actually distract Bratty a little bit. But coming on to the start-finish straight, he is behind Logan. So this will give Bratty DRS, I believe. Unless that's the detection point there. Which in case it will give Logan DRS. It gives Bratty DRS! That really is helping Bratty with a bit of luck there.
But
so
I must
DRS
say,
the
Bratty. Gap's down to 5.1.
Bram's not gaining enough.
But the gap was, I'm pretty sure the gap was still 5.5, 5.6.
He gained 6 tenths.
Yeah, the absolute rocket ship there from Bratty. This could just keep him in it.
Oh my god. So 5 laps, 5.4. Bram's got to deliver the 5 laps of his life if he wants this win, because surely, if he does get this win, that is the championship with 22 points. He would have to outscore Bratty by 5 points next week to become world champion. But if it stays like this, the gap goes down to 8 points, and he would have to outscore Bratty by a good, 19 points, which, let's be honest, will not really happen unless Bratty has an absolute stinker, which means this decides if it pretty much goes down to the wire. And Bram is really trying to push as hard as he can, but due to Sin Icon holding him up, the gap would have been around 3 and a bit seconds, and that could have made the difference. If the gap is less than 1.7 seconds at the end, I do believe Sin has done his teammate justice there and helped him win this race. But we will see if Bram even gets the gap anywhere close to that. We have 4 laps remaining, and Bram needs 1.2 seconds essentially per lap. He needs more than that if he wants to even have a chance. But Bratty's just got so much straight line speed, and he's still got 50% to play with, and that's what Bram is really struggling with. His ERS, his management this race just hasn't been good enough compared to Bratty Terror, who's just been out front. He made the gamble on the VSC, and the other thing we have to think about is how long will those tyres last? As Logan pits for softs, he comes out in last behind Nathan. Is that... I was going to say that's not representative. I hope you've seen the tyre life, Will. I'm changing it back now. So Logan has to stick within 3 seconds of Nathan to get P7 back. And he's getting lapped by Sin.
Have a look at... Oh,
no! Oh my god! Bratty's got a 3 second!
I just called that as well. I was going to say, looking at the tyres of Bratty Terror, they do look terrible. But he's just cut the corner marginally. at turn 8, I believe, and the gap's 4.9, and Bram needs to buckle up his ideas. There's 9 laps between the tyre life,
Oh my god.
but Bratty has got the ERS. Bratty's keeping the ERS on during the whole third sector. That has lost him a majority of his ERS. But gap's
Bratty, no.
4.6, and it needs to drop down 1.7 seconds in the next 2 laps.
The 1.7 seconds I was just talking about. This could be a masterclass from Sin Icon. He's held Bram up that much. Bram needs to gain in 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh, Bratty, no. If he still has a chance, if he can still hang on like he has, the gap should not go under 3 seconds. But now he can expense another warning or two. That, I'm guessing the last couple of laps, considering you said he had no warnings, those last couple of laps, he must have been thinking, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake, losing time. But now because the pressure's kind of been off, but obviously he's got new pressure added. Yeah.
So he had a warning lap 18, a warning lap 30.
30,
lap
there we go.
33.
There we go, like I thought, the last couple of laps, he's been on edge, and if he got it, he has to get it now. And I swear, Bram looks like he's going off every lap time there, but he's right on the limit. And I love watching Bram just go through that corner. It looks absolutely phenomenal. But now he needs to make every corner like that corner if he's to gain enough time on Bratty Terror, who starts the penultimate lap. And just like we saw back in Tier 2 Season 2, between a Red Bull and a McLaren with the dying stages, we still don't know who's going to win this race. Bram needs to gain 8 tenths per lap. It's not a case now of getting Bratty on track, because let's be honest, 4.7 in 2 laps, that was never going to happen unless something happened to Bratty's tyres. Now it's a case of penalties, which I thought may happen earlier. Sin doesn't really need to do anything here, and he'll still get the podium. So he can stick with, but he's a racer. He will still go for it if he needs to. Taze looks like he's cemented 6th. Logan's got past Nathan for 7th. He's getting lapped as Nathan's pitted again, I believe. So they're all going to fight for the fastest lap. This is for the win, and Bram is just not gaining enough.
The ERS is absolutely identical nearly.
It isn't.
So
oh, it
the
is.
advantage for Bratty Terror on the ERS on the power unit side is completely gone. As Taze Rosa takes the fastest lap away from Bratty Terror's teammate there.
I think it was, Sin.
Yeah, and but the gap is Bram is getting 3 tenths on this lap, now 4, now even 5 tenths. But is it going to be enough? I mean, Bratty Terror, he's got 1 more lap to doodle around this track without getting a puncture.
1.2 seconds is how much Bram needs to gain in about 4 miles. Bratty Terror starts the final lap of the Mexican Grand Prix.
Front right.
Oh my god.
Front right going down the straight. The light is beaming on that, and then soon, when we turn around, the front left, the one which takes the most beating around this track, is going to be absolutely screaming. But the gap is back up to 4.5. Bratty Terror
because of the straight.
Is using that straight line speed.
Yeah. So he's actually trying, and he's actually going, and he actually might succeed in 29 laps, maximising Cody's mistake of causing that VSC to pit under it and do what Bram did last time. He's 2 sectors away from fulfilling that dream and going back at Bram to do what he did 7 days ago to gain the 7 points he needs. 29 laps on those mediums. 1.4 seconds is how much he has as an advantage over Bram, and I can't see it changing really, as he's just got a handful of corners left. Bratty Terror, he's taken the fight all season. The consistency's been there. He's had 3 wins. He's now going to turn it into 4. He's going to take that lead that was 8 points, went back up to 15. He's going to drag it back down to 8 as the fireworks start to light up. And it's, guess who it's for? It's for the Red Bull. It's for Bratty Terror, rounding the final corner and closing the gap in the World Championship. Bratty Terror wins the Mexican Grand Prix. Absolutely amazing by half a second to Bramley Lang. What a battle between these two, and the championship goes to Red Bull now with them leading, and the championship between these two goes down to just 8 points with 2 races to go. Verstappen will get 4th, Horosia 5th, and Sin Icon inherits P3. For Red Bull, 2 definitely now take the lead in the Constructors' Championship. What a race. Alfa Romeo gaining 18, 12 on Williams, to make that a close fight. Nathan will come home for P8. But Bratty Terror wins the Mexican Grand Prix. His 4th win of the season. Bram has 5. He got it last week. And Bratty, if he gets one more and gets the fastest lap and equals Bram's 5 wins, they will be level heading into Abu Dhabi. But we got to see what happens in 7 days' time. But that was such a crucial win for Bratty Terror. I can't believe he did it, Nick. 3 seconds scared the life out of me.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. I'm sure it scared the life out of him as well. He had 5 seconds in hand. And then by the end of the race,
Sin really won it for him. Half a second.
Yep.
Sin Icon, the greatest teammate play ever. Well, one of them. What a clutch from Sin Icon to help his teammate win the race by half a second. If Sin just pitted normally, Bram may have been the one on the top step. But wow, wow, wow. I can't believe that. Wow. I'm interested to see what Bright's tyres were.
Yeah, I did ask. But I got
right.
quite a devilish air.
Right. Let's invite the top 3. I think we'll talk to Red Bull and then we'll talk to Bram, just so things stay a little bit more peachy. Jason!
Hello.
Have you included your audio?
Yes, I have.
Alright. And Wingman of the Year of 2023 goes to this man right here. You have just helped your teammate win the race.
Come on.
What a... Wow. I mean, there's a lot to dive into, but I'm going to let Nick throw the first question.
Right.
Alright. Let me think so.
Because there's quite a few.
Sin Icon.
Yes.
What was the game plan today? After Bratty Terror pitted for the hards on lap 7, what was the game plan? Where were the comms? Where were the comms at?
So we knew going into the race, Bram had some crazy pace. So we're like, okay, let's go for an alternate strategy this time. And then we found out it was hards as the one you should go for. So I was like, okay, I'll just stay on hards. And mostly it came to our engineer, Morana, because we were telling him what's happening at the time, and he was like, okay, you want to do this, you want to do that, and we were like, okay. And we, the plan was just stay out as long as I can. Hopefully, we didn't mind what Herosia did, but we wanted Bram to come right past us, and then when he got behind me, we just held him up as much as I can, and then he got past, and then luckily for me, I had the chance to put onto the softs, and then Bratty could just stay at home.
And you held Bram up for, I think we estimate about 1.7 seconds he lost, and he ended up losing the race by half a second. So you holding up did, in fact, give Bratty the win. What was going through your mind when Bratty got the 3 second?
Well, I couldn't see it from my point of view from the left-hand screen, but all I could hear was Bratty going, oh shit, and I'm like, what happened? He's like, I've got fucking 3 seconds. I was like, ah! So we're like, just push, save the ERS and just push as much as you can. So
yeah, Bram had a mega last 30 seconds of the race to gain nearly a good second on Bratty. I think he was just bringing it home. But final question, besides pitting for softs, did you get the fastest lap?
No, Taze got it in the end.
Taze got it in the end. But still a valiant effort to not get any penalties and inherit third. I just want to talk about that little bit that happened on the straight between you and Bram. It looked like you nearly swiped him.
Yeah, I was kind of getting flashbacks to Abu Dhabi when Bram did it to Josh. But I was on the straight and Bram was coming. I wasn't really looking that much, and we kind of touched a little bit, and I moved to the right. But
okay. I don't think that'll be anything too bad considering nothing actually happened. I mean,
Yeah.
all of us, our hearts stopped for a moment. You really, really made that race one to remember. And
Come on.
Red Bull now take the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Wow, the
Come
7
on.
points you gain. So what's that, 40 to 18, 22, 15 now for you guys, I think.
Oh, let's go.
Anyway, Josh, are you there?
Hello, hello.
You include your audio?
Of course I have, mate.
Right, Terra, you have just won the Mexican Grand Prix.
I have.
Uh,
I
No
want to
shit.
dedicate this win to two special people. Jason Doyle, absolute madman. Jason, a legend. I didn't know what exactly was going on, but all I heard was bye bye, bro, and that was it. And I won. So, and that safety car, well, it was actually Matt that told me to come in, and he thought it was a full safety car. And when we realised it wasn't, shitting ourselves because we're thinking, okay, we might have bottled this, but you need a little bit of luck in your races sometimes. So there we go.
Yeah. You have the DRS from Logan, and
Yeah.
like the whole like bratty terror and strategy never going hand in hand. It finally worked this time. And Moore Island, that's a familiar name from Mexico a couple of seasons ago, but I can't imagine why. Anyway, brilliant race from you guys to take home the win. And now, as course of Red Bull taking the lead, Bratty, the gap was 8, it went to 15. You did the exact same thing that Bram did 7 days ago, and now you have closed 7 points back to 8 points. 2 races to go. Do you think you can win this?
As long as I don't take tires that long again. That was awful. I was on like 68%, and all my warnings came in like the last few laps because the car was just sliding everywhere. It's
Now,
awful.
I have to give a little bit of warning, and it isn't superstition, it's just what I've noticed. A Ferrari and a Red Bull driver both fought for the World Championship last season. They went into Brazil, you know, really close, and the gap ended up being like, what, 18, 19 afterwards, so the last race left one of them having to finish somewhere. But if you win Brazil and somehow get fastest lap, you go into Abu Dhabi level if Bram is second. There is all
This is
to
the best
play
track
for.
as well.
Brazil is
Yeah.
Bratty Terra's best track.
Yep.
Well, a certain someone made it 3 wide across the line last season, bringing an absolute... Actually, no, wait, didn't you... okay, bringing an absolute spectacle to the race, but didn't you disconnect like 5 times last season?
We don't talk. I mean, this season as well. It stopped being great
True.
in the first half, but
You're
Yeah.
you're so consistent. You've scored points in like the last 15 races in a row, I swear.
really?
You're like on the 3rd longest point streak any Tier 2 driver's ever had.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it's
That's funny.
amazing. Yeah. The consistency's there, and finally, well, not finally, but the pace and just results are finally showing for you getting your first win. To have 4 wins this season now, as Bram has his 5th, it would just make so much sense for you to get your 5th level with Bram, and then one final race to decide it all. But anyway, as for now, Mexico, such a crucial race for you two, and you especially, Bratty, and massive congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Right, we will get Bram in. You two better clear off.
I will leave.
Right, in a bit.
All I must say is
Right.
up the balls.
That sounds really bad if you say it really quickly, but okay.
Up the balls.
Right,
I'll
in a
see you
bit.
guys later.
Yeah.
Don't know if... Hang on. Nick, can you try and invite Bram?
Shall try.
There we go.
Oh.
That worked. Okay. Let me know when you've included your audio, Bram.
I have.
Cool. Okay, Bram Nick Lang. First off, let's start with the positives. What a brilliant pole lap from you. How did that feel?
I mean, I felt like there was more time in it. I was just driving casually. I was pushing my lap because I was scared of track limits, and I just improved my small mistakes I had in my last run. There's still a lot of time to find in that lap, but I'm definitely pretty happy with that lap. And certainly won't complain with a pole.
I just wanted to ask, what happened in turn 3? You went off a bit.
Yeah, I couldn't turn in anymore, so I took the runoff area, which slowed me down. So I could rejoin without getting validation. I practiced that in quali, in case it happened, and I saw that you do not lose any time. So I thought it's better that than risking invalidation.
Yeah, and I mean, you still found like 2 and a bit tenths in the other 2 sectors, which was enough anyway. So, yeah, brilliant pole time. The launch at the start, you had, obviously, being in pole at Mexico is just not the best place to be, unfortunately. But, yeah, the getaway was alright. You slipped in behind Bratty and had a little look at the inside. But do you want to just take us through that a little bit with Bratty and Taze?
I was trying to overtake ready, of course, from his inside, and I just saw that people started to randomly go around the outsides. Well, that was not a good idea, and I found that very dangerous. I said that as well on stream, that it was dangerous what they did, and that ended, of course, in a lot of collisions. And sadly, I just wasn't lucky with that, getting passed by I think 3 people, which is certainly not what you want. And then spinning, almost crashing. It was just a chaos. I didn't find it the best racing that there was, but certainly I made it out without damage. I lost a lot of time though, which costed me the win as well at the end, which is just unfortunate.
Nick, do you have any questions for Bram?
No, I don't, to be honest. But just unlucky today. Obviously, Bratty used your strategy. From last
You're
week.
just teammate.
Yeah, and obviously, yeah, you are at a disadvantage from not having a teammate. But you tried your best, certainly, and you got within 5 tenths. And good luck for the next 2 races.
Thanks.
Yeah, you still lead the Drivers' Championship, 8 points in hand. So, as much as today we were, really thinking this win, if it goes to you or Bratty, could decide it. Obviously, Brazil will be the biggest foundation, and it will be the final touch to set the stage in Abu Dhabi. If you win Brazil, then 15 points. If Bratty wins Brazil, then 1 point, even maybe it's level. So it will be interesting. You have your first shot now to win the World Championship in 7 days' time if you outscore Bratty by 20 points. So let's say you win and he's, I don't know, 8th or something. But I'm sure that's not going to be what's on your mind mainly. I'm sure you're just going to want to go in there, win the race, and just try your best to give you the best possible position for Abu Dhabi. But at the moment, all I can say is well done on the P2. Keep your head up high. You've driven like a champion all season, and you just got 2 final races to see if you can get the title.
Thanks.
Okay, that has been the Tier 2 Season 6 Mexican Grand Prix. I've been F1 Union and SLR Nico. Any last message, Nick?
Nope.
Cool. Right. We'll see you next time out for the Brazilian Grand Prix, one of the highlights of the season. And we'll see who is it. It's going to be Bratty or Bram to take the top trophy in Brazil and set the stage in Abu Dhabi. We'll see you next time.